Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm losing my edge this week so far. This is just horrendous. Would I rather have a 1-2 that does nothing on feint, but has a feint trigger so it could activate a frilled dragon, a 1-2 that has honey, or a 3-1? Sounds crazy. I definitely want the 3-1 just because, what the heck is going on in the background here, man? Where Steam trailer just started playing after the window was open for like 8 hours. How about a holy buttocks? Me when the plumber bends over at my house, it's a joke about how oftentimes they end up exposing their behind when they bend over, because I don't think it's the pants are ill-fitting. I honestly think that, I mean, it's hard to come up with a pant that fits well when you're standing and then also when you're kneeling and bent over, you know? That's, I mean, I guess that's why they invented the belt. Now we got 3 gold remaining. We don't really want a blueberry, so we'll just roll. And I think I'll keep that. Not interested? Very interested. Okay. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. Long story short, we're getting a little bit washed this weekly. I really feel like we had something semi-decent going on in our last run. And what caused it to fall apart was we never got that level 2 starfish, and then from that point on we were just sort of floundering. But we're also, every time we make it that far into a round, I don't think there's a chance you go Okapi here. You gotta go porcupine. And then, actually, I think we did this in the wrong order. Because I do think we want shrimp. Even if we don't go buy sell, which I probably will now just because I already own one. Shrimp just seems like a better unit. I'd rather have a 2-3 than a 1-3 with honey in most situations, I believe at least. Anyway, we're learning a little bit more about the world around us every time we make it that far. Like we now know Highland cow, scaled Highland cow can go kind of crazy. Realistically, I don't think you're sticking around, so why don't you give me a worm instead? Maybe we can get some scaling out of that. Realistically, a 3-4 chinchilla, I'd rather have a 3-4 with some potential upside. And meat on our porcupine? Maybe meat on my worm? And then porcupine will give garlic next round, hopefully. So the real question right now is, what are we going to do with our apples? I think like the apples you get from the worm. Now let me just start here by saying, one thing you could do with your apples is just, this was huge. You could not purchase them. You could just let them decay until you get like a level 2 worm instead. Might be a way of thinking about things. What I'm going to do, I don't need two times the apples. What I'm going to do is feed them to my porcupine, because I feel like the porcupine makes the best use of the... I'm not even worried about the shrimp. Makes the best use of the stats. Like 1 HP on a garlicked porcupine can get you a lot more than it could on a lot of other units. So we definitely respect that. The porcupine respecter is logged on. We just lost to Minecraft Steve. That's why he's banned in competitive play right now, okay? Level 2 worm. You loved, and you know what? We got a little food build going on. You could talk about the Doberman, but I think we got a more interesting sort of food build going on here. Sell me, buy me. That's interesting. I was literally just about to sell you, but to level you up first? Sure, perhaps. I don't think we have to panic even if we lose this round, but it would be so much nicer to draw or win. I forgot winning's an option too. Oh, get owned! And I do have to acknowledge, because I oftentimes acknowledge the inverse. We have gone up against a lot of squads using Royal Flycatcher when we are not spawning units. I appreciate that from the game. That doesn't always happen. 2-2 apple. This is huge. You now need to get sold. We use monkey to buff porcupine. I love it. You're also going to be gone soon. I do want to say there could be a strat here, like don't buy the apples first turn, freeze them so they become free. There may be something to that. I just genuinely don't know. I'm just pleading ignorance on that one. I'm buying them as they become available because I'd rather have 2-2 in the hand versus 2-2 for free in the bush. All shop food by 1 gold. Okay. So obviously you're not that good. So we will run 2 squirrels for the moment. But I would love to have the space available. 3, 2, 2, 4, 4. I mean, this is basically a 3/3 buff. I have to keep pushing this, man. It just makes more sense to me. It doesn't matter if our squirrels and our monkey are buffed. They're a scaling engine. What matters is our porcupine being buffed. And also, I'm realizing the whole thing could fall apart just thanks to this freaking skunk, man. One single... What would win? A meticulously designed team or one single tier 4 lad? Come on, come on. Where's... Right. You cost 0. That's great. I mean, these are cheap. It's unbelievable. Moose is tempting when there's 2 of them, but... Well, you know what that means. That means you should probably run this. Freeze your tier 1s. You only cost 1. Pie perk. 4/4 before start of battle. Roll me. Pretty nice, honestly. And it unfreezes the shop, right? So it's going to give the porcupine the HP. Give it all to the squirrel and the monkey. Haven't you always wanted a monkey? Not that badly. I'm honestly sort of, like, flabbergasted at how bodied we got. I don't know if it's just that the worm build can't get it done, but I would think... I mean, that was an embarrassment. I would think of the units that can do the most damage with a... with a worm's apples. I think you actually stack here. It'll be like an Elden Baguette. The sequel to Elden Ring. Oh my god, it's a draw. I thought we had that in the bag because they all had 1 HP. Well, this is crazy. Not good. This is like kind of horrible, but it is what it is. I don't even want the worm. Like, I can't believe we're 3 squatted. That's like unbelievably under squatted. And 136 is not worth it. And yet I'm looking at this and I'm like, we might win. We won. Anyway, I was gonna say, if the porcupine worm build can't work, then, like, I don't think any worm build can work within reason, at least. Obviously, I can't account for miracles, but what a strange run so far. I'm happy to be on something different. Let's just put it that way. Now, what is this run? Well, it doesn't have a theme yet, but just because it doesn't have a theme doesn't mean it's not viable. I mean, good stuff is a viable archetype in Magic the Gathering. Turns out when you just got animals with good stats, you know, you're feeling pretty good about the situation. And right now, even though our squad looked sort of like busted, I'm actually feeling pretty good about it right now. Especially if we could get garlic on this Peacock and level it up next time. And then I'm realizing, or have realized, that basically just rolling 1 strong unit is probably not going to work this week because it seems like the skunk is pretty popular. So we'll try to play around it a little bit. And I truly just don't see a world where the lobster does anything for us. I don't get it, to be frank with you. Like a 2/2 buff on a unit outside of battle, I simply don't understand. But I do understand that a platypus maybe is not amazing, but it could do something for us because we get a cell. I realize we lost a buff there. Then this cell into a skunk, and that's a pretty early skunk, and our stats are looking pretty good in my opinion. So what is our game plan? I don't know. I guess if I had to come up with a one-word explanation of what I think my strategy is right now, it's wide scaling. Which, as soon as I said, before I said wide scaling, my brain went, what an idiot. That doesn't exist. As soon as the words left my mouth, I said, oh my god. Moose! Maybe moose is the way this, or one of the many ways this week, because it does seem like kind of a diverse weekly this week. Buy sell, dragon scaling, buffalo scaling, which is kind of like buy sell, I suppose. And Highland Cow apparently can get something done too. We're already at 5 wins. We already surpassed our last run where we actually had to think about what we were doing. That doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good, let me tell you that. You know what? Why don't you do 26 damage once? You never know when that might come in handy. And why don't we just activate your buy ability? I don't know what we're doing with this parrot. I don't know what we're doing, but the team seems fine. It would be nice to find a good way, fair enough, to scale our Peacock. And you already know what I'm about to say. Obviously, monkeys exist in this game, and IRL. I'd rather just have 2 of these, quite frankly. Why don't you take one of those as well? Move you up a little bit. We're going to try to blow away the frontline units and let the Peacock feast on the scalers. They got their own skunk. And yet, we take these. I don't know, maybe moose. This is when moose can shows up. Am I okay? This is when moose can show up. I think dragon is, I know that we've been doing it a lot, but literally I asked for wide scaling, brother, and look where we are. So I think you have to go, though I appreciate everything you've done for us. Next round we go level 2 Peacock. This is so early. Oh, you weren't supposed to get sold. This is so early to get another, to get a dragon out there. And the Peacock itself, especially with garlic, is very sustainable. No skunks, no skunk. They got a crane that's spooky in and of itself, but that's where the cheese comes in. You can't hurt me, not with my cheese helmet. I'm taking my level, because we got to do it at some point. I was just about to suggest something like this could come to pass. Now, how do we play this one? Freeze me, freeze me. You wanted to see chocolate in the shop. We didn't get chocolate in the shop. We wanted to see it, but if we can get a level 2 dragon, I think we're clear for 10. Barring any equipment mishaps, I think it's set in stone. And I don't say that very often. I normally try to hedge my bets because it's cringe to guarantee something and then it doesn't come true. It's very embarrassing. But on this one, man, it would hit the spot. We don't need the stats just yet. We can afford to be a little patient. There's our chocolate. That's what I mean by patience. And our patience will be rewarded. Even if this round we eat it. The dragon going to level 2 borderline guarantees it for us, I think. Holy cow, it's a strong frickin' sheep, dude. Huge. Huge. We win these? It's over. You know what the worst part about this is? And there's not a lot of bad parts to getting to 10 wins. But the worst part about this, if I had to choose one, is definitely the fact that I don't know why we're getting to 10 on this one. I ran a pretty horrendous team early. Didn't lose. And then a Peacock went crazy. And then we got an extremely lucky dragon, I think. There's no action item to learn from this. I think another thing that sort of benefited us, I'm hoping the guarantee doesn't fall through here. But if there's one other thing, it's actually just that stacking otters early in the game is actually like still pretty good, I guess. If I could point to one thing special on this run that happened, our otters getting stacked up was definitely like, it might have made a statistical difference. By the way, why did I keep the dragon at the back instead of in position 4, which seems to make more sense? I'll tell you, but you have to promise not to laugh. As I... Yes! I thought that my muscle memory is to sell the unit in position 4. So I worried about having the dragon in position 5. Here's something a little insane for you. Watch this. I worried about having the dragon in position 5, just in case I was talking, I wasn't thinking, and then I sold it. I'll be a cartoony biker. You know, like the kind Mickey Mouse would like go to a bar and then realize it's a biker bar because all the people at the bar have like shoulders they have like the 7 hairs drawn, and then like under the hair is a tattoo that says like Ma, and then they're extremely enormous and they got a big belly poking out under like a leather vest, and then Mickey Mouse goes, "Oh, hey fellas, how you doing here?" And then they look at him and go, they don't even say anything, and then Mickey says, "Minnie, we gotta leave." But when he leaves, he opens the door into one of the motorcycles, and then it goes tunk. It hits all the other motorcycles in like a domino chain, and he goes, "Ah!" And then they get in their car and they're like driving away, and the bikers are chasing them down with like nail bats and stuff, and Minnie's doing her makeup in the mirror. The other joke that's nested in there is that she doesn't know that they're being chased by bikers. She's just like, "Oh, Mickey, what a great day." Nothing can stop us now. You know what I'm talking about? Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railroad. We're putting way too much of our hopes and dreams on a 3/5 frilled dragon, man. And we drew. I don't believe it. I thought for sure we were going to lose. I honestly, I'm going to give you meat just because we need a quick injection here. Okay. And then a second feint trigger could kind of go crazy. We know a Peacock can work. It honestly might be a good time to formulate a strategy. What if the rule of thumb for this week is just Peacock every single time and as much health as possible? On the Peacock, that is. I don't think that's ridiculous. Like, I think that could be a path to relevancy. Like, to getting 6+ wins almost every single time. Like, the problem is we're losing a feint trigger by selling you, but I think that the frilled dragon is probably not a good long-term strategy. I see no feint triggers. Forget you. You're a sell trigger. I'm sorry to do this to my otter, but I think we need the stats, and we need to keep like a feint trigger maybe. We're trying to buy, sell the Peacock to be a little bit stronger. I think I made my team worse that round. But it's in the service of possibly making it better long term. I can tell you mathematically there's no shot we're getting through this one. That's okay. It is. It's still okay. We got plenty of time to right the ship. You need to go, but you don't have to go just yet. Even if you soak up some of the buffs, like I'm not going to cry. I'm not really sold on a dolphin. At this point, the time has come to sell you. We keep the sheep because the sheep is just like a good unit. And then we're doing like mad buy sells on the Peacock because it now has garlic. If we can get this Peacock up to like 13 HP, and I absolutely did just pick a number like basically out of a hat. I'm not wearing one, as you can tell, because I'm bald. Can I tell you something annoying, by the way? But I was going to say, if we get to 13 HP, I'll be relatively happy and optimistic about our Peacock's chances, okay? What I was going to say, we're going to take our level up next time, I think. One thing that's annoying about being bald, and I actually don't mind it at all. Like, it carries a lot of perks. I know it seems like copium, but it carries a lot of perks. Like, in particular, for example, my showers are, like, insanely short. That's a perk. People tell me that they shower, like, 10 to 15 minutes per shower, like, and that's relatively quick about it. I'm like, I can do a whole shower in 4 minutes. And I know what you're going to say. You're not doing a thorough enough job. I promise you. I'm a good judge of my own stinkiness. I shower 1 to 2 times a day, depending on when I work out. I smell fine. I'm not going to say I'm the best smelling man on the planet, you know. I don't wear a fragrance, and I'm just using Dove for Men deodorant. But I shower as much as I need to shower to smell neutral at the very least. You just hop in, your whole body gets wet, you soap it up, you wash it off. Not having to deal with hair is a positive in that sense. Now, one thing that is annoying, and it's a very advanced level bald strategy, so you could be forgiven for not having considered it before in your life. I always feel self-conscious, not of what you would think, but I feel self-conscious as a bald person when I wear a hat. Because I feel like when people see me take my hat off to like wipe some sweat off or something like that, or maybe the wind blows it off, which is cartoonish but happens all the time, they're probably thinking, oh, that guy's so embarrassed about his baldness. That's so sad. That's why he's wearing a hat. No, I'm only wearing the hat so I don't get sunburnt. I'm not one of those bald people that always wears a hat so that people don't know I'm bald. I feel like you could just tell from the size of my head, or at least the back of my head, that I'm obviously bald. It's for the sunburn-based purposes. Now, here's the thing, you might say, but if that's the case, how did you get that sunburn on your head? Well, that's because I took my hat off to go swimming, because I'm not that self-conscious of a bald person. And then the one time I took my hat off to go swimming, all of a sudden, wouldn't you know it, turns out in Florida, the sun is pretty strong. Okay, we have a decent run, but we have something to reckon with. And the reckoning is very simple. Our Peacock is indispensable right now, but also has very little chance of being a good unit in the late game. So with 3 HP, it may be advisable to cut and run. Just so that we have the ability to have more space on the squad to pop down another unit. This is a weird one, but I mean, our shark at 5 HP is also not all that in a bag of potato chips. Like, it's a pretty easy unit to dispense of in the future. Or, as you're about to see, the present as well. Now, if this leveled up, if this was level 2, it wouldn't be so, catastrophic, but it's not level 2 yet. It might be in the future, though. Hey, brother, this is a huge buy-sell. It's a huge risk to do this, but with 2 platypuses, like, I at least gotta consider it, right? Like, what kind of gamer would I be if I had 2 platypuses in my shop and didn't at least consider this? And every time the shark gets more HP, that's a greater chance that it survives sniping or like a snake attack or something like that, which is a greater chance that it can get to the point where it can scale and wipe out their whole squad. So we didn't maybe get as much out of that as I wanted, but that's okay. What if we tried to make like a super sheep? You can't have sheep in position 1. You got to do it like this. You got to make a super shrimp. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I don't think we're getting to 10. If we hit a level 2 shark and a miracle happens, you never know. Thank God they didn't have a fly. That's all I'm going to say. Is this actually... I think I'm wrong. Because what I was about to say is this looks drawable. Oh, it was so close to drawable, brother. Just get to level 2, you piece of junk. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's embarrassing. I'm going to continue to roll it like this against perhaps your better judgment. I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm doing that. I'm basically choosing to run a level 1 sheep in position 3 on round 11. Hi, Tomo. How you doing, buddy? Hang on. Don't cry yet. This is so makeable. This is what loser's bracket is like, man. It's not makeable. It's already been made. 5 wins. Respectability. Huge. A useful shrimp. Okay. I do think we still want to fly. I'm just going to go insane. I'm going to give you some PETA so you don't get sniped. I don't really think a level 3 shrimp matters at all, so we'll go level 2 fly first. But I was about to go level 3 shrimp. I was about to. But level 2 fly, it gives us a certain je ne sais quoi. Dude, our shark's still going to be pretty strong. I mean, I'm not going to play around the seahorse, mostly because that just seems like it's like way too much mental effort. What if my opponent on round 17 is a seahorse? Maybe I should put my shark in position 4. I think it's just one of those ones you got to eat if they counter you, you know? But we still managed to make it happen. I'm stoked about that. Roll me once. Nothing too incredible there. Let's keep it rolling. I mean, if we got to 8, I would feel pretty happy with this run. I'm content at 6, honestly, but if we got to 8, we're trying to be reasonable here. If I got to 8, I would feel pretty good about myself. Do you see that everybody on the opponent's team has melon armor? Melon armor. Wait a minute, though. Wait a minute. Oh, we almost won. I wasn't worried about losing. We almost won. It's kind of tempted to dump you. And it's kind of tempted to dump you, honestly. I understand you're at 822, but you're going to be summoning a relatively strong dog, which also gives us, I mean, it's a strong unit in its own right, and then it also gives us a trigger, a faint trigger on the shark. Losing the fly probably means that we're torched here. You summoned, you got 4 trumpets? That's it? After all that, 4, we win? Hang on! I thought we were rinsed, but not yet. Nothing can stop us now. So you're generating like 14 now, right? 2 trumpets for each 3 health. You have 7 groups of 3 health times 2. It's 14. The master of arithmetic has logged on. Why don't you take some of this? There's no 1-ups this week, right? Why don't you take some of that? Maybe you could summon a fly. Now this is important, potentially. 2 melons. I would love to run melon shrimp, and I would love to run melon Highland cow. We're going to have to live long enough for that to come to pass, though, and I got to be honest with you, that's not looking great right now. Especially with this level 3 grizzly bear out here. And the snake, which is also going to then move behind the grizzly bear. I mean, how are you at 1 win, Sisyphus? Like, this is insulting. This should be like, you should have already gotten to 10 by now. What happened? You got me. Congrats. WalterWhite.png. You got me. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And I'll see you next time. See ya.